राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान संचार एवं नीति अनुसंधान संस्थान निस्पर वैज्ञानिक तथा औद्योगिक अनुसंधान परिषद CSIR की 37 प्रयोगशालाओं में से एक है। CSIR के दो महत्वपूर्ण संस्थानों राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान संचार एवं सूचना स्रोत संस्थान NIScPR और राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान प्रौद्योगिकी और विकास अध्ययन संस्थान NIScPR's के विलय के बाद वर्ष 2021 में निस्पर अस्तित्व में आया। यह नवोन्नत श्रेणी के विज्ञान संचार और नीति अनुसंधानों में संलग्न है। वैज्ञानिक खोजें ज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी का निर्माण करती हैं, जिससे एक बेहतर दुनिया का लक्ष्य पूरा हो सके। ऐसे जन कल्याणकारी कार्यों में एक महत्वपूर्ण हितधारक के रूप में CSIR-NIScPR यह सुनिश्चित करता है कि प्रयोगशाला में उपजे ज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकियां जनहित के लिए सभी हितधारकों और जनता तक पहुँचे। निस्पर भारत की सबसे लोकप्रिय विज्ञान पत्रिकाओं अंग्रेजी में साइंस रिपोर्टर, हिंदी में विज्ञान प्रगति और उर्दू में साइंस की दुनिया का प्रकाशन करता है। निस्पर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर की 15 शोध पत्रिकाओं के प्रकाशन के लिए जाना जाता है, जो देश में किसी भी संस्थान द्वारा सबसे अधिक संख्या में प्रकाशित किए जाने वाले प्रकाशन हैं। हम देश की सबसे पुरानी शोध पत्रिकाओं में से एक जर्नल ऑफ साइंटिफिक एंड इंडस्ट्रियल रिसर्च का प्रकाशन कर स्वयं को गौरवान्वित अनुभव कर रहे हैं। इसे वर्ष 1942 में आरंभ किया गया था। निस्पर आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए कृत संकल्पित है, इसीलिए यह अंतर क्षेत्रीय नीति विश्लेषण और बहुविषयक सहयोग के साथ वैज्ञानिक दृष्टिकोण को बढ़ावा देने में संलग्न है। निस्पर उद्यमिता, ऊर्जा, सतत अध्ययन, कृषि, पारंपरिक ज्ञान जैसे कई महत्वपूर्ण क्षेत्रों में नीति अनुसंधान में निरंतर लगा हुआ है और CSIR प्रौद्योगिकियों उद्यमिता के माध्यम से ग्रामीण आजीविका के अवसर को सुगम बना रहा है। साथ ही स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम, साइंटोमेट्रिक्स और फॉरसाइट स्टडीज, टेक्नोलॉजी रेडीनेस लेवल असेसमेंट, सोशियो इकोनॉमिक इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट और इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स के अध्ययन में संलग्न है। निस्पर CSIR का प्रमुख और अद्वितीय संस्थान है, जो देश में विज्ञान संचार, नीति अनुसंधान, विज्ञान तथा प्रौद्योगिकी अध्ययन विरासत को आगे ले जाने का प्रयास कर रहा है। CSIR-NIScPR भारत के वैज्ञानिक ज्ञान के संचार पर राष्ट्रीय मिशन भी लागू कर रहा है। नॉलेज एंड अवेयरनेस मेकिंग प्लेटफॉर्म कैंप और जिज्ञासा निस्पर की वे प्रमुख नवीनतम पहल हैं, जो सुविधाओं से वंचित और विशेष रूप से दिव्यांग छात्रों सहित स्कूली छात्रों के संवेदीकरण और विज्ञान तक सुलभता को पूरी करता है। CSIR सोसाइटी के अध्यक्ष और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने इस बात पर जोर दिया है कि भारतीय पारंपरिक ज्ञान प्रथाओं की वैज्ञानिक मान्यता से संबंधित जानकारी को जनता तक प्रभावी ढंग से संप्रेषित करने की आवश्यकता है। इसीलिए CSIR-NIScPR को भारत के वैज्ञानिक रूप से मान्य पारंपरिक ज्ञान के संचार पर राष्ट्रीय पहल लागू करने के लिए नोडल संस्था के रूप में नामित किया गया। इस पहल को स्वास्थ्य कहा गया, जिसका अर्थ है साइंटिफिकली वैलिडेटेड सोसाइटल ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज। स्वास्थ्य अभियान ने अपने सोशल मीडिया चैनलों के माध्यम से 4 लाख से अधिक लोगों तक पहुंच बनाई है और MyGov के साथ साझेदारी निभाते हुए 4,69,00,000 लोगों तक वैज्ञानिक जागरूकता पहुंचाने में सफलता पाई है। निस्पर 2 अन्य प्रमुख ज्ञान केंद्रों का निर्वहन करता है, जिसमें से एक है ISSN नेशनल सेंटर, जो कि पूरे देश में सभी तरह के प्रकाशनों को ISSN नंबर प्रदान करता है, और दूसरा है नेशनल साइंस लाइब्रेरी, जिसमें 2,90,000 से ज्यादा पुस्तकों, मोनोग्राफ और शोध पत्रों तथा रिपोर्ट्स का संग्रह है। निस्पर देश के मानव संसाधन निर्माण के मामले में अग्रणी है। CSIR का अभिन्न अंग होने के नाते निस्पर विज्ञान संचार और विज्ञान नीति के क्षेत्र में PhD कार्यक्रम भी चलाता है। इसके अलावा यह विज्ञान संचार और लेखन, सूचना तथा प्रौद्योगिकी प्रबंधन, लाइब्रेरी ऑटोमेशन, ओपन जर्नल सिस्टम सॉफ्टवेयर, IPR और पेटेंट जैसे क्षेत्रों में अपने कौशल विकास कार्यक्रमों के माध्यम से स्किल इंडिया पहल में भी सार्थक योगदान दे रहा है। जैसे जैसे विज्ञान हमारे दैनिक जीवन में बखूबी स्थान बनाता जा रहा है, वैसे वैसे निस्पर अपनी दूरदर्शिता और दृष्टिकोण के बल पर न केवल विज्ञान और आमजन के बीच सेतु के रूप में कार्य करते हुए उनकी दूरी को कम कर रहा है, बल्कि नीति और कार्य व्यवहारिता को निकटता प्रदान कर रहा है। राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान संचार एवं नीति अनुसंधान संस्थान निस्पर वैज्ञानिक तथा औद्योगिक अनुसंधान परिषद CSIR की 37 प्रयोगशालाओं में से एक है। CSIR के दो महत्वपूर्ण संस्थानों राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान संचार एवं सूचना स्रोत संस्थान NIScPR और राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान प्रौद्योगिकी और विकास अध्ययन संस्थान NISTARS के विलय के बाद वर्ष 2021 में निस्पर अस्तित्व में आया। यह नवोन्नत श्रेणी के विज्ञान संचार और नीति अनुसंधानों में संलग्न है। वैज्ञानिक खोजें ज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी का निर्माण करती हैं, जिससे एक बेहतर दुनिया का लक्ष्य पूरा हो सके। ऐसे जन कल्याणकारी कार्यों में एक महत्वपूर्ण हितधारक के रूप में CSIR-NIScPR यह सुनिश्चित करता है कि प्रयोगशाला में उपजे ज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकियां जनहित के लिए सभी हितधारकों और जनता तक पहुँचे। निस्पर भारत की सबसे लोकप्रिय विज्ञान पत्रिकाओं अंग्रेजी में साइंस रिपोर्टर, हिंदी में विज्ञान प्रगति और उर्दू में साइंस की दुनिया का प्रकाशन करता है। निस्पर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर की 15 शोध पत्रिकाओं के प्रकाशन के लिए जाना जाता है, जो देश में किसी भी संस्थान द्वारा सबसे अधिक संख्या में प्रकाशित किए जाने वाले प्रकाशन हैं। हम देश की सबसे पुरानी शोध पत्रिकाओं में से एक जर्नल ऑफ साइंटिफिक एंड इंडस्ट्रियल रिसर्च का प्रकाशन कर स्वयं को गौरवान्वित अनुभव कर रहे हैं। इसे वर्ष 1942 में आरंभ किया गया था। निस्पर आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए कृत संकल्पित है, इसीलिए यह अंतर क्षेत्रीय नीति विश्लेषण और बहुविषय सहयोग के साथ वैज्ञानिक दृष्टिकोण को बढ़ावा देने में संलग्न है। निस्पर उद्यमिता, ऊर्जा, सतत अध्ययन, कृषि, पारंपरिक ज्ञान जैसे कई महत्वपूर्ण क्षेत्रों में नीति अनुसंधान में निरंतर लगा हुआ है और CSIR प्रौद्योगिकियों उद्यमिता के माध्यम से ग्रामीण आजीविका के अवसर को सुगम बना रहा है। साथ ही स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम, साइंटोमेट्रिक्स और फॉरसाइट स्टडीज, टेक्नोलॉजी रेडीनेस लेवल असेसमेंट, सोशियो इकोनॉमिक इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट और इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स के अध्ययन में संलग्न है। निस्पर CSIR का प्रमुख और अद्वितीय संस्थान है, जो देश में विज्ञान संचार, नीति अनुसंधान, विज्ञान तथा प्रौद्योगिकी अध्ययन विरासत को आगे ले जाने का प्रयास कर रहा है। CSIR-NIScPR भारत के वैज्ञानिक ज्ञान के संचार पर राष्ट्रीय मिशन भी लागू कर रहा है। नॉलेज एंड अवेयरनेस मेकिंग प्लेटफॉर्म, कैंप और जिज्ञासा निस्पर की वे प्रमुख नवीनतम पहल हैं, जो सुविधाओं से वंचित और विशेष रूप से दिव्यांग छात्रों सहित स्कूली छात्रों के संवेदीकरण और विज्ञान तक सुलभता को पूरी करता है। CSIR सोसाइटी के अध्यक्ष और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने इस बात पर जोर दिया है कि भारतीय पारंपरिक ज्ञान प्रथाओं की वैज्ञानिक मान्यता से संबंधित जानकारी को जनता तक प्रभावी ढंग से संप्रेषित करने की आवश्यकता है। इसीलिए CSIR-NISpR को भारत के वैज्ञानिक रूप से मान्य पारंपरिक ज्ञान के संचार पर राष्ट्रीय पहल लागू करने के लिए नोडल संस्था के रूप में नामित किया गया। इस पहल को स्वास्थ्य कहा गया, जिसका अर्थ है साइंटिफिकली वैलिडेटेड सोसाइटल ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज। स्वास्थ्य अभियान ने अपने सोशल मीडिया चैनलों के माध्यम से 4 लाख से अधिक लोगों तक पहुंच बनाई है और MyGov के साथ साझेदारी निभाते हुए 4,69,00,000 लोगों तक वैज्ञानिक जागरूकता पहुंचाने में सफलता पाई है। NISpR 2 अन्य प्रमुख ज्ञान केंद्रों का निर्वहन करता है, जिसमें से एक है ISSN नेशनल सेंटर, जो कि पूरे देश में सभी तरह के प्रकाशनों को ISSN नंबर प्रदान करता है, और दूसरा है नेशनल साइंस लाइब्रेरी, जिसमें 2,90,000 से ज्यादा पुस्तकों, मोनोग्राफ और शोध पत्रों तथा रिपोर्ट्स का संग्रह है। NISpR देश के मानव संसाधन निर्माण के मामले में अग्रणी है। CSIR का अभिन्न अंग होने के नाते NISpR विज्ञान संचार और विज्ञान नीति के क्षेत्र में PhD कार्यक्रम भी चलाता है। इसके अलावा यह विज्ञान संचार और लेखन, सूचना तथा प्रौद्योगिकी प्रबंधन, लाइब्रेरी ऑटोमेशन, ओपन जर्नल सिस्टम सॉफ्टवेयर, IPR और पेटेंट जैसे क्षेत्रों में अपने कौशल विकास कार्यक्रमों के माध्यम से स्किल इंडिया पहल में भी सार्थक योगदान दे रहा है। जैसे जैसे विज्ञान हमारे दैनिक जीवन में बखूबी स्थान बनाता जा रहा है, वैसे वैसे NISpR अपनी दूरदर्शिता और दृष्टिकोण के बल पर न केवल विज्ञान और आमजन के बीच सेतु के रूप में कार्य करते हुए उनकी दूरी को कम कर रहा है, बल्कि नीति और कार्य व्यवहारिता को निकटता प्रदान कर रहा है। राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान संचार एवं नीति अनुसंधान संस्थान NISpR वैज्ञानिक तथा औद्योगिक अनुसंधान परिषद CSIR की 37 प्रयोगशालाओं में से एक है। CSIR के 2 महत्वपूर्ण संस्थानों राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान संचार एवं सूचना स्रोत संस्थान NIScPR और राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान प्रौद्योगिकी और विकास अध्ययन संस्थान NISTADS के विलय के बाद वर्ष 2021 में NISpR अस्तित्व में आया। यह नवोन्नत श्रेणी के विज्ञान संचार और नीति अनुसंधानों में संलग्न है। वैज्ञानिक खोजें ज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी का निर्माण करती हैं, जिससे एक बेहतर दुनिया का लक्ष्य पूरा हो सके। ऐसे जन कल्याणकारी कार्यों में एक महत्वपूर्ण हितधारक के रूप में CSIR-NISpR यह सुनिश्चित करता है कि प्रयोगशाला में उपजे ज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकियां।
आज के हमारे मुख्य अतिथि माननीय केंद्रीय विज्ञान एवं प्रौद्योगिकी मंत्री और CSIR के उपाध्यक्ष डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी हमारे बीच पधार चुके हैं। आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सर। हम सबके बीच CSIR के मार्गदर्शक और महानिदेशक डॉक्टर N. कलाई पधार चुकी हैं आपका स्वागत है मैम। हमारे साथ आज एनपीएल के निर्देशक प्रोफेसर वेणुगोपाल अचंता जी हैं। आपका अभिनंदन है सर। हमारे बीच CSIR-NISpR की निर्देशक प्रोफेसर रंजना अग्रवाल जी हैं। आपका अभिनंदन है मैम। CSIR के 1 वीक 1 लैब कार्यक्रम की गरिमा बढ़ाने के लिए हमारे बीच गणमान्य अतिथि मौजूद हैं। आप सबका इस कार्यक्रम में स्वागत है। आप सभी का आज CSIR राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान संचार एवं नीति अनुसंधान संस्थान निस्पर के 1 वीक 1 लैब कार्यक्रम में अभिनंदन है, स्वागत है। मैं मिताली भारती आप सभी का पुनः नमस्कार करते हुए इस कार्यक्रम की गति प्रदान करती हूँ। आज इस महत्वपूर्ण अवसर पर आप सभी एकत्रित हुए हैं, जिसका उद्देश्य CSIR के अनुसंधान और गतिविधियों के साथ इसके स्टेक होल्डर्स से जुड़ना है और कदम से कदम मिला के आगे बढ़ना है। अब मैं आज के इस कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि माननीय केंद्र विज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी, CSIR की महानिर्देशक डॉक्टर N Kelaई-Selvi, CSIR-NISpR के निर्देशक प्रोफेसर रंजना अग्रवाल, CSIR-NPL के निर्देशक प्रोफेसर वेणुगोपाल अचंता जी और CSIR 1 वीक 1 लैब संयोजक समिति के अध्यक्ष डॉक्टर योगेश सुमन जी से अनुरोध करूंगी कि वह मंच पर पधारें और डायस पे अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। इससे पहले कि हम आगे बढ़ें, आइए अपने अतिथियों का स्वागत करते हुए शुरुआत करें, जिन्होंने अपनी उपस्थिति से इस कार्यक्रम को शोभायमान किया है। हमारे साथ कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि माननीय केंद्रीय विज्ञान एवं प्रौद्योगिकी मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी हमारे बीच उपस्थित हुए हैं। उनका मार्गदर्शन संस्थान को हमेशा मिलता रहा है। CSIR की महानिर्देशक डॉक्टर N Kelaई-Selvi, अतः विशिष्ट अतिथि प्रोफेसर वेणुगोपाल अचंता जी, निर्देशक CSIR-NPL, और प्रोफेसर रंजना अग्रवाल, निर्देशक CSIR-NISpR। मैं सभी गणमान्य अतिथियों की ओर से माननीय मंत्री महोदय का हार्दिक स्वागत और अभिनंदन करती हूँ। जैसा कि हमारे भारतीय संस्कृति में किसी भी शुभ कार्य को शुरुआत करने से पहले दीप प्रज्वलित किया जाता है, वैसे ही हम भी CSIR के 1 वीक 1 लैब कार्यक्रम का शुभारंभ दीप प्रज्वलन से करेंगे, क्योंकि दीपक की रोशनी ज्ञान की रोशनी का प्रतीक है। इसके लिए मंचासीन हमारे मुख्य अतिथि डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी, वरिष्ठ अतिथि डॉक्टर N Kelaई-Selvi, महानिर्देशक CSIR, विशेष अतिथि CSIR-NISpR के निर्देशक प्रोफेसर रंजना अग्रवाल जी, CSIR-NPL के निर्देशक प्रोफेसर वेणुगोपाल अचंता जी और योगेश सुमन जी से आग्रह करूंगी कि वो आए और सरस्वती वंदना धन्यवाद सर, धन्यवाद मैम। अब हम आगे बढ़ेंगे और भारतीय परंपरा अनुसार अतिथि सत्कार करते हैं। अब मैं CSIR की महानिर्देशक डॉक्टर एन केलाईसेल्वी जी से अनुरोध करूंगी कि वो हमारे इस कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि माननीय मंत्री महोदय डॉक्टर जितेंद्र जी को फूलों के गुलदस्ते, हरियाली के प्रतीक पौधे, स्मृति चिन्ह और पुस्तक भेंट से स्वागत करें। अब मैं CSIR के निदेशक प्रोफेसर रंजना अग्रवाल मैम से आग्रह करूंगी कि वह CSIR की महानिदेशक डॉक्टर एन केलाईसेल्वी मैम को फूलों के गुलदस्ते, हरियाली के प्रतीक पौधे, स्मृति चिन्ह और पुस्तक भेंट से सम्मानित करें। रंजना मैम से पुनः आग्रह है कि वह CSIR-NPL के निर्देशक और हमारे विशेष अतिथि प्रोफेसर वेणुगोपाल अचंता जी को सम्मानित करें। मैं CSIR-NISpR के वरिष्ठ प्रधान वैज्ञानिक डॉक्टर योगेश सुमन से आग्रह करूंगी कि वह CSIR-NISpR के निर्देशक प्रोफेसर रंजना मैम को स्वागत सम्मान करें। मैं CSIR-NISpR के वैज्ञानिक डॉक्टर मनीष मोहन गोरे से आग्रह करूंगी कि वो CSIR-NISpR के वैज्ञानिक डॉक्टर योगेश सुमन का स्वागत सम्मान करें।
धन्यवाद सर। आप सभी गणमान्य अतिथियों का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। 1 वीक 1 लैब कार्यक्रम CSIR-NISpR में आज से प्रारंभ हो रहा है, जिसमें एक सप्ताह तक विभिन्न कार्यक्रम आयोजित किए जाएंगे, जिनका उद्देश्य लैब के विभिन्न कार्यों को आम जन तक पहुंचाना है। और इसी श्रृंखला में CSIR-NISpR स्टार्टअप वर्कशॉप, फ्रॉम आइडिया टू मार्केट, स्टूडेंट साइंस कनेक्ट, Grassroots Innovation and Skill Development Conclave for Rural Development, Science Communication Engagement, Public Engagement with Science, Science Knowledge Convention, Science Policy and Diplomacy Meet, ये सभी कार्यक्रम पूरे सप्ताह भर में वैज्ञानिक नीति निर्माता, विज्ञान संचारक, शिक्षक, छात्र, विज्ञान प्रौद्योगिकी में नवाचार आधारित स्टार्टअप, उद्यमी और उद्योग से जुड़े सभी लोग सम्मिलित होंगे। इस अवसर पर CSIR-NISpR के ज्ञान उत्पाद, प्रकाशन और रिपोर्ट जारी किए जाएंगे। साथ ही आप सभी के लिए प्रकाशनों पर केंद्रित प्रदर्शनियां भी आकर्षण का केंद्र रहेंगी। अब मैं CSIR-NISpR के निदेशक प्रोफेसर रंजना अग्रवाल जी से आग्रह करूंगी कि वो अतिथियों और श्रोताओं के लिए औपचारिक रूप से स्वागत संबोधन प्रस्तुत करें। रंजना अग्रवाल मैम प्लीज।
धन्यवाद श्वेता। नमस्कार एंड ए वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग टू वन एंड ऑल। मोस्ट रेवरेड डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी, Honorable Minister, Science and Technology, Independent Charge, Minister of State in Prime Minister Office, Ministry of Personal Public Grievances, Pensions, Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Space, and Vice President CSIR. Respected Dr. N. Clay Selvi, Director General CSIR and Secretary DSIR, Government of India, Dr. Venugopal Achanta, Director CSIR-NPL, Dr. Manoranjan Parida, Director CRRI, other directors joining us online, distinguished guests from headquarters and from other institutions, Dr. Yogesh Suman, Coordinator 1 Week 1 Lab, dear members of CSIR-NIScPR family, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. I, on my own behalf and on behalf of CSIR-NIScPR, extend a very warm welcome to the inaugural session of 1 Week 1 Lab campaign of CSIR-NIScPR. CSIR-NIScPR is feeling extremely blessed to have the presence of Honorable Minister Sir with us today. As all of us know, that last year on CSIR Foundation Day, 26th September, when the country just completed 75 years of independence and we were entering into Amrit Kal year, Honorable Minister, while appreciating, acknowledging the contribution of CSIR in nation building, gave a very innovative idea that the achievements of CSIR-NIScPR should be shared in the society with the various stakeholders meeting by celebrating 1 Week 1 Lab. Sir, CSIR took that idea in true spirit and started celebrating it, and we are very happy that you officially launched this 1 Week 1 Lab in January 2023. And since then, every lab is celebrating 1 week with great enthusiasm. So in this connection, in this series, now this is the turn of CSIR-NIScPR. From September 11 to September 16th, we are celebrating our achievements, our strength, and showcasing it to the various stakeholders. Sir, as you know, and you always say, that CSIR-NIScPR, which came out, a new institution by the merger of two erstwhile institutions, CSIR-NIStats and NIScare, we are the youngest lab of CSIR. लेकिन हम कहते हैं कि जो सबसे छोटा होता है उसको स्नेह भी सबसे ज़्यादा मिलता है, and we are very happy and very blessed कि आपका स्नेह, आपका मार्गदर्शन हमको हमेशा मिलता रहा है. इसके लिए हम आपके बहुत बहुत आभारी हैं. Sir, though we are only 2 years old institution, but we have a legacy of more than 100 years, 60 years of CSIR-NIScare and 40 years of CSIR-NIStats. So not only in the country, but internationally also, we are known as premier labs of science communication and science policy. So in these 7 days, we will be celebrating our achievements of science communication and science policy. Sir, I welcome you to this event, and your presence is really motivating to each and every person of CSIR-NIScPR. We have with us Dr. N. Clay Selvi, who infused fresh energy to every member of the CSIR family. She is amongst us. Madam, we are very happy to have you here with us. I will take this opportunity to showcase some of the achievements of CSIR-NIScPR in the last 2 years. As Science Communication Lab, we are the only institution, government institution in India, who publishes 15 scholarly journals in various disciplines of science and technology. Our journals are platinum access. That means no author has to pay and no reader has to pay for it. From submission to publication, everything is online. We are meeting the global benchmarks by having DOI number, by being part of the directory of open access journals, having the accomplished editorial boards. So we have made our presence before independence in the field of scholarly communication. Journal of Scientific and Industrial Research was started in 1942 before independence. To communicate science to the masses, we bring out many popular science books and popular science magazines for the students and for the general public. Our 3 magazines, Science Reporter, Vigyan Pragati and Science Ki Duniya, in English, Urdu and English, Hindi and Urdu, have made impeccable mark in the society. Very pleased to share with everyone that we were awarded Rajbhasha Kirti Puruskar, first position, which is given by the Government of India in the field of official language implementation. Now our effort is to bring science communication in other 22 languages of the country, and for that we have signed MOU with National Translation Mission Mysore. So we will be now communicating science in other languages also. National Knowledge Resource Consortium is the oldest consortia of science in the country, which CSIR-NIScPR is hosting for last 2 decades. We are providing more than 600 electronic journals to all DST labs and all CSIR labs. And this year, Ministry of Earth Sciences has approached us, looking at the kind of variety, quality we provide to, of the electronic journals, and also the cost efficiency, the tough negotiations we do. So Ministry of Earth Sciences is also now part of us. National Science Library, which is the oldest and the largest, we hosted. And ISSN, the only national center in the country with the headquarters in Paris, we assign ISSN number to any periodical journals if it want to be, recognized by the scientific fraternity. So we do it. Coming to the policy sides, we carry out evidence-based policy studies such as socio-economic impact analysis, technology readiness level assessments, benchmarking studies, technology foresight, technology commercial assessments on various sectors of health, agriculture, MSME, traditional knowledge, education, and environment. Our policy documents are being appreciated not only by the national agencies like NRDC, TIFAC, DSIR, but also international platforms like UNIDO and UNDP, APCTT, etc. I would like to mention about 2 national initiatives which we have started in the last 2 years. One is Swastik, scientifically validated societal Indian traditional knowledge. This initiative was given to CSIR-NIScPR in the society meeting. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji gave a clarion call that the CSIR should take this initiative to communicate scientific knowledge to the society which has scientific evidence. Sir, last time when you attended the Foundation Day, I shared with you that time we shared only 4 to 5 stories and the footprint was only in thousands. But today, very proudly, I can say that we have shared more than 39 stories on Swastik platform, on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp, and other social media. And we have reached to 5 lakh people on social media. We have engaged ourselves with MyGov platform, which is a government platform to engage society. And at that society, 48 million footprint is there on traditional knowledge. So we are able to take this responsibility in a big way, and in the coming times, we want to make it better and better. The other important initiative which CSIR-NIScPR has taken, all the CSIR labs are developing technologies which can be relevant for the rural livelihood creation. So all these technologies are scattered in different labs. So CSIR has taken the initiative to bring all the technologies which are relevant for rural livelihood. We have brought out around 80 technology under this umbrella. We have mapped them against 24 indicators, and with the help of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, which is an initiative of Ministry of Education, and Vigyan Bharati, which is a social scientific organization having footprints across the country, we are utilizing their network and showcasing CSIR technologies to the masses. And the success stories have started coming in. We have deployed CSMCRI Bhavnagar solar dryer technology in Cotton University in PPP model, where the farmers can bring their crop and 25 kilo of crops can be dried using that technology. So similarly, many such technologies are under pipeline. So we will be disseminating CSIR technologies for the rural livelihood. Similarly, Kisan Sabha app, this is a digital intervention for creating easiness into the lives of farmers. So in Kisan Sabha app, there is provision that the farmers can get the information about the supply chain and freight transportation management, so that they can be, delivery of the products can be facilitated. More than 10 lakh farmers have registered on Kisan Sabha app, and looking at its popularity, we have translated this Kisan Sabha app now in 12 languages. So, as I said, science communication and policy research has been our domain, and now augmenting the popular science division of CSIR, we have been given the responsibility to disseminate, to communicate the achievements of Indian scientific R&D to the society as a single window. So from now onwards, we will have the responsibility that whatever is happening in the society, in the scientific domain of the country, we will be communicating that information with the society. So with these words, I would like to emphasize that keeping all these activities in mind, we have planned the programs for the 1 week, 1 lab, where all our stakeholders, whether they are educationists, whether they are scientists, farmers, students, policymakers, policy implementers, everybody will be brought on board, and all the events will have the participation of various stakeholders. And as it has been said that 1 week, 1 lab should not only be for the showing the success stories of CSIR-NIScPR, but also the futuristic way, how we are going to make the roadmap for the future journey. So in all, for 6 days, we will be doing various events, and in these events, there will be participation, and I assure you, sir and madam, that with your constant support and your guidance, the committed team of CSIR-NIScPR will excel and make CSIR-NIScPR an institution not at the national level, but at the international level, filling the aspirations of the nation. Thank you so very much, sir, for being here. I again welcome all of you to be part of our celebrations. Thank you so much.
धन्यवाद मैम, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपके महत्वपूर्ण शब्दों के लिए और विचारों के लिए। अब मैं CSIR-NPL के निदेशक प्रोफेसर वेणुगोपाल जी से आग्रह करूंगी कि वो अतिथियों और श्रोताओं के लिए अपना संबोधन प्रस्तुत करें, और आप सभी से मेरा अनुरोध है कि जोरदार तालियों से हमारे आज के कार्यक्रम के विशिष्ट अतिथि श्री वेणुगोपाल जी का स्वागत करें। सर प्लीज।
Thank you. Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh, respected DG CSIR Dr. Kalai Selvi, Director NIScPR, Dr. Ranjana Agarwal, Dr. Yogesh Suman. You have other members from CSIR family here, Sri Mahendra Singh, Mahendra Gupta ji, JSCSIR, Professor Manoranjan Parida, CRRA Director, Dr. Geeta Vani, Directors of other CSIR laboratories who are online. We have distinguished members from the press, guests, CSIR family members whom I see from headquarters, RAB, and various laboratories, as well as students who are in the audience today. So I just want to mention about the 1 week, 1 lab program which we have been organizing from the last 9 months. This was a brainchild of our Honorable Minister. We have been going to the stakeholders as he envisioned. We are taking what CSIR does, each lab does, to the general public. This is a brilliant idea which is given by you, sir, and we have been trying our best to go take our achievements to the general public. Just to tell my own experience, whether it's a success or not, how would I judge is in April this year we had our 1 week, 1 lab program. 2 months later I was in Amravati in a university. There a local press person, he came and asked me, sir, could you tell more about 1 week, 1 lab program? What is about it? So that I judge as a success of this story that far away, what is happening in Delhi, like people are following and getting the message, which is what we all have been trying to take it to the general public. So each lab has its own USP. We all know that. And again, the highlight of 1 week 1 lab program is that, like, so we take our message to general public. Similarly, like NISPR is one binding force, which is a common entity which will bind each and every single laboratory in the CSIR family through the promotion of scientific activities, through publications which are carried out. Publication, the only way which is accepted over generations in scientific community is through peer review process. So this is considered holy. Whether I'm doing an editorial job or a reviewer job, it's taken as sincerely as possible, as honestly as possible. This is a full-time job where we all have to do so that, like, the scientific authenticity and integrity is maintained. So it is commendable that, like, NISPR is doing this. Not many times, I'm sure they'll get their recognition, but we all should give and respect and also recognize the due recognition which they want, they deserve. So this is one occasion. I'm sure every one of us will agree that with Atmanirbharta and Make in India, with these slogans, it's not just industry and doing whatever we do in a better way. In the same way, like even in scientific publication and scientific, in some sense, it's a science history. We are all historians who are documenting the science history. So this is something which we need to recognize. And NISPR has brought in several changes of late. As an editorial board member, I myself see these changes. For example, new editorial boards, there are editorial software which is completely automated now from submission to acceptance. Everything is available online, and there are more stringent review process. So I'm sure, like, these augur well for Indian science. Wish each one of us start publishing our high quality works in our own journals. This we all say, but sitting in the committees, we all do not give this. This is the honest truth, that we don't give the due credit to the publications which we do it in Indian journals. I think we should change our mentality or the mindset and should start recognizing these publications so that we promote our own journals, which is important for our own country, right? So this auditorium, as Honorable Minister has said previously, has been a witness to history. As part of the CSIR family, this auditorium hosted distinguished personalities, including Nobel laureates, scientists, and leaders, played host to international and national events of significance, and announcement of prestigious awards that helped identify leaders as well as future leaders of Indian science. I would like to welcome you all to NPL Auditorium. We're fortunate that we have amongst us Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh, whose brainchild is the successful OWOL event, and Dr. Kalai Selvi, who is leading us from the front. Sir and Madam, I'm very sure each one of us in the auditorium would agree to this when I say that we are very happy and proud to be here to be a part of another piece of history in the making. Thank you.
धन्यवाद सर, आपके महत्वपूर्ण शब्दों और विचारों के लिए। अब मैं CSIR की महानिदेशक डॉक्टर एन कलाई सेल्वी जी को मंच पर आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी कि वो मंच पर आएं और 1 वीक 1 लैब के विषय में सभा को संबोधित कर हमारा मार्गदर्शन करें। मैम।
Namaskar, Vanakkam, and pleasant morning to every one of you. Most respected and Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, my CSIR family and CSIR well-wishers across the globe, good morning to each and every one of you. I'm very, very happy and extremely glad that today is the first day, the inaugural day for the 1 week 1 lab program of NISPR. Friends, if you just turn the pages of Webster Dictionary and you just try to understand the meaning of science, it says science is nothing but the knowledge that you gain out of learning or out of experiments. That's why many a times when I introduce myself, I used to introduce myself like I am an organic chemist by education, and I'm an electrochemist by profession or by training. I use the word electrochemist by training. So this is how the meaning of science is. Whatever knowledge you gain out of studies, that is one part. And whatever knowledge you gain out of your experiments or your experience or your practice, that is another part. So the combination of these two is called as science. So we are all doing science. But the other end from the society, there are people who are not knowing what kind of a science that we are doing in the name of scientists. Therefore, how to reach the other end who is not having any idea that what these scientists are doing. Because many times I used to tell also in my earlier laboratory, so the people used to say that admission restricted, meaning is they used to believe and they used to really talk to each other that inside this campus, I think some explosives related research is going on. That's why they are not allowing us inside. I think inside they are making some guns and that's why they are not allowing us to go inside. Therefore, it becomes our duty to make the society to understand that we are scientists and what kind of science that we do. So this is where the science communication gains more than enough importance. So when we say that market is an interface between science, technology, as well as the user community, here science communication is the interface between a scientist and a common man. And therefore, NISPR, you are the greatest interface between we the researchers and the society. So that is your identity. You being the interface is the identity. And these days we proudly say A and ML, it is indispensable, and this is the only thing that horizontally cuts across every vertical. Friends, I would say NISPR is the AI and ML kind of a very, very indispensable laboratory and activity, because you are horizontally connecting all the remaining labs, and therefore you are the connect of CSIR. So you can really proudly, you can lift your collar up and say that I'm from NISPR. Because Achanta was sharing his concerns that many a times you become unsung heroes. No. We realize that you are the real heroes and you are only giving us the face of CSIR, and you only makes our identity very, very clear without even giving any kind of a guesswork for whether it could be A or B. And therefore, we from scientific side, we greatly feel that NISPR is the very basic essence of CSIR for its scientific publications or patents or technology or whatever it may be. So in that particular sense, I think I'm very happy that you have given me an opportunity to address all of you on the very first inaugural day of your 1 week, 1 lab. Now coming to 1 week, 1 lab. Give me another 2 minutes, I will talk. So coming to the 1 week, 1 lab, all of us, we know that it is a brainchild of our Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, who always comes up with a kind of an innovative idea. Friends, in science, always know whatever we write or we speak, if at all it is my own data, I can say that it is like this. If at all I am trying to refer somebody's data, always I should say that according to so and so, this is the result. This we call it as scientific ethics. Now, after the announcement of OWOL has been made by the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, sir, this is not an exaggerated version. Many other organizations, they are also thinking how best we can also come up with something very much similar to OWOL, because even though we have not patented this OWOL, now it cannot be taken from CSIR. Because even though minister's brainchild is OWOL, sir, we have stolen it from your end, and it is now CSIR's OWOL. So, truly speaking, according to scientific legacy, if at all somebody wants to make any kind of a program in future as 1 week and one some other thing, I think CSIR comes as number 1. Sir, in that way, you have given the greatest identity to CSIR, and also you have given us the privilege to make some noise. Sir, we are trying to make some noise through this OWOL, and today only I'm also getting it endorsed by Achanta's words. When he is going to Amravati, some reporter is coming and asking, can I know more about OWOL? So that time also Honorable Minister was telling with a broad smile that at least now press is coming and asking you that what is that OWOL. Sir, thank you so very much for having this kind of a wonderful idea, due to which now our mileage is really getting increased. And friends, with the due permission from Honorable Minister, all of us were thinking that OWOL is going to get completed. And on September 26th, we will be just having the grand finale of OWOL in the name of CSIR Foundation Day. And that's the end of it. This is what I was also thinking till 10 minutes back. So when we were just walking along the corridor, Honorable Minister, as usual, he always walks, talks, and he walks signs also, and he takes signs also whenever he walks and talks. So he said that, after this, what next? OWOL. He said that this time, all of you wanted some kind of an individual identity, and therefore you celebrated it in the name of 1 week, 1 lab. Now this is time for you to think in a thematic way, and therefore you can now plan for 1 month, 1 theme. Sir, you can announce it and you will only announce it. But why I am telling you is because many a times, after convocation, everybody will be expecting, oh, tomorrow should be a holiday. So, but according to that 1 week, 1 lab, 26th September, we are going for a grand finale. Next day is not a holiday. And next 1 year is also not going to have any kind of a relaxing mode. We are now coming up with another big event, with a much more intensified event. And therefore, friends, again, the duty of NISPR is also getting enhanced. Your responsibility is becoming more. And we know that apart from the press, media, and the general public, like the way we now want our own publications should happen in Indian journals, our own CSIR lab-related promotion of science and technology should be taken care by NISPR in a much more different way also in the coming days. And I look forward to such days. And thank you so much for the opportunity given. And I wish this event every success. Namaskar.
आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैम। आपके इस शक्तिशाली संबोधन ने हम सब में एक नई ऊर्जा का प्रवाह किया है। आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आज के इस विशेष दिन को यादगार बनाने के लिए इस अवसर पर आज निस्पर द्वारा प्रकाशित 2 महत्वपूर्ण किताबों का विमोचन करने के लिए मैं माननीय मंत्री जी और सभी अतिथियों से अनुरोध करूंगी कि वो किताबों का विमोचन अपने कर कमलों द्वारा करें। बुक्स प्लीज। मैं माननीय जावेद सर से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि वो स्टेज पर आएं। विज्ञान प्रगति श्रेष्ठ 80 आलेखों का संकलन है और यह पुस्तक CSIR की मासिक लोकप्रिय विज्ञान पत्रिका विज्ञान प्रगति के श्रेष्ठ आलेखों का एक अनोखा संकलन है। विगत वर्ष 2022 में विज्ञान प्रगति ने निरंतर प्रकाशन के 70 वर्ष पूर्ण किए हैं और विषय विविधता और रोचकता में वृद्धि के लिए समसामयिक विज्ञान लेखन, वैज्ञानिकों की जीवनी, साक्षात्कार, विज्ञान गल्प, विज्ञान कविता और संपादकीय शामिल किए हैं। विज्ञान व प्रौद्योगिकी के विविध पहलुओं पर विज्ञान प्रगति में प्रकाशित श्रेष्ठ लेखों को एक प्रमाणित, ऐतिहासिक और अनोखा दस्तावेज बनाकर आपके सामने प्रस्तुत किया गया है। अब हमारे पास एक दूसरी किताब जो कि निस्पर से प्रकाशित हो रही है, CSIR-80 अ फोटो जर्नी 1942-2022। जोरदार तालियां जी। CSIR फाउंडेड इन ईयर 1942, ईयर 2022
mark the 80 year of the existence of CSIR India. This publication attempts to trace the journey and capture the essence of myriad achievements of the CSIR through photographs. जोरदार तालियां इस बुक रिलीज के लिए।
आप सभी का धन्यवाद। CSIR-NISpR के साइंस मीडिया कम्युनिकेशन सेल आज से प्रारंभ किया जा रही है, जिससे आम जन तक विज्ञान सरलतम भाषा को प्रिंट, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक और सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से पहुंचाया जाएगा। माननीय मंत्री जी से हम अनुरोध करते हैं कि इस नई शुरुआत के लोकार्पण को इस वीडियो के माध्यम से करें।
हम कौन सी रिसर्च करें, कौन सी ना करें, सबसे बड़ी बात है हम हर पीढ़ी में साइंटिफिक टेम्पर तैयार करें, हर चीज को साइंटिफिकली देखने की आदत बने। वो साइंटिस्ट बने या ना बने, लेकिन उसका टेम्पर साइंटिफिक होना चाहिए।
From innovations to advanced research, from our cycle-driven rocket launcher to the recent historic milestone of Chandrayaan-3, India has come a long way in its phenomenal scientific journey. India is among the few countries to develop an indigenous COVID-19 vaccine and has become the second largest manufacturer of PPE kits in the world. India also exported vaccines to several countries. National technological missions such as the recently launched Quantum Frontier Mission, Semiconductor Mission, Samudrayaan, Deep Ocean Mission, Manav, the Human Atlas Initiative, and National Biopharma Mission are changing the global knowledge landscape and bringing a new era of revolution in sciences. India recently passed a bill in the parliament for establishing the Anusandhan National Research Foundation, NRF, to provide strategic direction for research, innovation and entrepreneurship.
I'm therefore proud to state that India has been progressing consistently well in recent years in the terms of the overall performance and outcomes in science and technology. India today, I'm glad to share with you, stands third position globally in the terms of number of publications. India has already attained the 10th spot in the number of patents filed.
We at the CSIR, National Institute of Science, Communication and Policy Research, through our holistic approach, constantly strive to bridge the gap between science and society through communication of S&T to make the scientific pursuits of the country's scientific laboratories accessible to large sections of people. CSIR-NISpR has recently formed a science media communication cell. SMCC will disseminate science, technology and innovation breakthroughs across various scientific departments and the ministries of the Government of India. This cell will create scientific temper by spreading scientific awareness among the students and the public, by disseminating S&T knowledge through social media, print and electronic media. SMCC will also engage the public through workshops, trainings, policy dialogues and interactive sessions, and connect with media outlets such as Doordarshan, All India Radio, Sansad TV, PIB, science journalists and communicators for maximum impact. We are committed to revolutionizing science communication and fostering scientific awareness nationwide.
अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं। शांति स्वरूप भटनागर अवार्ड पुरस्कार का भारत का नोबेल पुरस्कार माना जाता है। वैज्ञानिक अनुसंधान में जुटे वैज्ञानिकों का यह सपना होता है कि उन्हें यह पुरस्कार मिले। आज CSIR-NIScPR का सौभाग्य है कि हमारे 1 वीक 1 लैब कार्यक्रम में शांति स्वरूप भटनागर पुरस्कार का अनाउंसमेंट किया जा रहा है। Now I would like to invite Dr. Geeta Vani Raisam, Head CSIR DG, to come on the dais. Now I would like to invite Director General CSIR, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi, to officially announce the prestigious Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award.
Namaskar and pleasant morning again. I, on behalf of CSIR, feeling extremely proud and privileged to announce the recipients of Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize for Science and Technology for the year 2022. The SSB Prize 2022 goes to 12 scientists. Actually, it is given under 7 disciplines, and this time from 5 disciplines we have 2 winners, and from 2 disciplines we have 1 winner each. So I'll just read out the names of award winners, and Dr. Geeta will be reading out the area in which they are working. As all of you know, this Shanti Bhatnagar Prize is the most prestigious and the coveted prize as far as Indian science and technology is concerned. Dr. Shanti Bhatnagar is the founder, Director General of CSIR, and he was the chairman of UGC, and he was finding himself to have different positions decorated through his presence. That includes, he was the secretary of even Atomic Energy Commission, and he was holding the Ministry of Resources as well as Science Research also for some time as a secretary. So considering all these factors, this Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize is assuming its importance, and it is given to the outstanding scientist who has performed scientific research more often in the field of science and technology related research that is carried out in India, especially in the recent 5 years that concerns with the year on which the announcement is being made. So with this kind of introduction, I'm really happy to read out the names. And first one, I'm just reading in terms of alphabetical order. So biological sciences, the award goes to Dr. Ashwini Kumar, Molecular and Mycobacteriological Laboratory, CSIR IMTech, Chandigarh.
Dr. Ashwini.
You can come here also.
Dr. Ashwini Kumar.
Come here, Geeta. You can use this.
Okay. So Dr. Ashwini Kumar has done original contributions in biofilm-induced infections involving cellulose, revealing a novel mechanism in TB pathophysiology.
Under biological sciences, one more awardee is there. He is Dr. Madhika Subbareddy from the Laboratory of Cell Death and Cell Survival Center for DNA Fingerprinting Diagnostics, Hyderabad.
Dr. Subbareddy is known for his insightful contributions in ascribing new functions to phosphatases in the regulation of cellular protein sorting pathways.
So we now move on to chemical sciences. Here again, there are 2 awardees. The first one is Dr. Akatu T. Biju, Department of Organic Chemistry, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore.
Dr. Biju has done excellent work on transition metal, free carbon-carbon and carbon heteroatom bond-forming reactions using arine chemistry and organocatalysis for the synthesis of biologically important heterocycles and carbocycles.
Under chemical sciences, one more scientist also bags the SSB Prize 2022. He is Dr. Debaprada Meti, Department of Chemistry, Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay.
Dr. Maiti has made significant contributions in developing transition metal catalysis for transforming organic molecules to prepare value-added materials by site-selective functionalization, leading impact on agrochemicals and pharmaceutical industry.
We now move on to the third discipline, which is Earth, Atmosphere, Ocean and Planetary Sciences. And the winner is Dr. Vimal Mishra, Water and Climate Laboratory, Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar.
Dr. Mishra has made outstanding contributions towards examining the role of anthropogenic and natural factors on hydrologic extremes and water resources in India.
So friends, now we move on to engineering sciences. Again, this is backed by two winners. One is Dr. Deepti Ranjan Sahu, Department of Civil Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi.
Yeah, Dr. Sahu is known for his pioneering work in the field of structural fuses, such as shear-yielding dampers in the area of seismic design and mitigation of seismic effects on buildings and bridges.
The other winner from the same discipline of engineering sciences is Dr. Rajneesh Kumar, Department of Civil Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, Chennai.
Dr. Kumar is known for his exceptional contributions to fundamental understanding of the nucleation and growth of clathrate hydrates, carbon dioxide sequestration in solid hydrates, and methane recovery from marine gas hydrates.
So now we move on to mathematical sciences. Here again we have two winners. Dr. Apurva Khare, Department of Mathematics, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore.
Dr. Khare is known for his outstanding contributions in the areas of representation theory, combinatorics, and matrix analysis.
And the other winner under mathematical sciences is Dr. Neeraj Kayal, Department of Mathematical and Computing, Microsoft Research Lab, India, Bangalore.
Dr. Kayal is known for developing algorithms in algebra and number theory, as well as novel techniques in arithmetic complexity.
So we now move on to medical sciences discipline. There is one winner, Dr. Dipyaman Ganguly from Translational Research Unit, CSIR, Indian Institute of Chemical Biology, Kolkata.
Dr. Ganguly is known for his outstanding contributions to mechanistic crossroads of autoimmunity and metaflammation. He has led an important clinical and translational research in COVID-19, including in RCT.
So the last discipline, seventh discipline, is physical sciences. Here again we have two winners. The first one is Dr. Anindya Das, Department of Physics, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore.
Dr. Das has many outstanding contributions to advances in understanding the electrical and thermoelectric properties of strongly interacting 2D atomically thin materials.
The other winner of SSB Prize 2022 under Physical Sciences is Dr. Basudev Das Gupta from the Department of Theoretical Physics, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai.
Dr. Das Gupta is known for his pioneering research on coherent interactions of neutrinos in dense astrophysical environments and the nature of dark matter and the methodology for its direct detection.
Thank you, Geeta. Even though it is not conventional, I will just take half a minute. Why? Because announcement of this Shanti Bhatnagar Prize 2022 is historically important, wherein not only CSIR, even the Honorable Minister's Office also played a very, very, very great role, critical role, and the timely supports received from the Honorable Minister as well as his office side, along with all other secretaries and well-wishers. I think this is my responsibility to thank each and every one from the country to help CSIR to get these results announced today. Thank you so very much, and CSIR extends hearty congratulations to all the SSB Prizes 2022 winners. Thank you so much.
आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैम। गीता मैम आपका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। सभी विजेताओं को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं और बहुत सारी बधाई। भारत में तकनीकी सफलताओं और नवाचारों को प्रदर्शित करने का और आम जन तक विज्ञान को सरलतम तरीके से पहुंचाने का जो उद्देश्य है, उसे माननीय डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी की महत्वाकांक्षी परिकल्पना के तहत 1 वीक 1 लैब अभियान की शुरुआत 6 जनवरी 2023 को की गई थी। CSIR की प्रयोगशालाओं के माध्यम से क्रियान्वित किया जा रहा है और इस अभियान के लिए कृत संकल्पित माननीय मंत्री जी आज हमारे बीच उपस्थित हैं। ये हमारे लिए सौभाग्य की बात है कि आपके नेतृत्व में CSIR लगातार प्रगति कर रहा है। ऐसे दूरदर्शी और दृढ़ संकल्प वाले CSIR के अभिभावक डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह का CSIR राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान संचार एवं नीति अनुसंधान संस्थान के 1 वीक 1 लैब के उद्घाटन सत्र में आगमन पूरे संस्थान के लिए अविस्मरणीय क्षण है। हम सब आपके आभारी हैं सर। आपसे अनुरोध है कि आप अपने अनमोल विचारों से हम सबका मार्गदर्शन करें। माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी का स्वागत जोरदार तालियों से। सर प्लीज।
Director General CSIR, whom you just now heard, when she speaks, she not only motivates, she also energizes. And in the fraternity of scientists, we are taught to speak with evidence. So I think the latest evidence comes from none other than this young girl who spontaneously said कि अभी आपने उनका शक्तिशाली भाषण सुना. So if there is any bias in our conclusions and findings, this has been reiterated by the latest entrant into your fraternity. But nevertheless, it's nice to be there, and you not only lead, you also inspire others. Dr. Ranjana Agarwal, you've seen her working, you heard her, extremely focused, diligent, and very serious about whatever assignment she takes up. And she was to head one of the youngest labs, which was not very conspicuous. But I think that is also an opportunity to make it conspicuous and prove oneself, and I'm glad that she has actually lived up to that. As she said, she is heading an institution which is just about 2 years old, which, as I said the other day in the medical parlance, is just an infancy stage. But the milestones are happening very early, as they happen in the case of some of the prodigal toddlers. So compliments to you. Professor Venu Gopal, heading one of the earliest CSIR institutions of the country. And even though each of the labs had the opportunity of observing only 1 week, he has had the opportunity of observing, I think, more than 3 weeks. Because he's been readily playing host to, I think this is the 3rd or the 4th time. But I think that's your privilege, because you are heading one of the most historical institutions in the Government of India. Members of the fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a very auspicious occasion also because we have just now concluded G20. And G20 India was an opportunity which was successfully used to showcase India's technological capabilities as well as economic strength, and also the leadership acumen of Prime Minister Modi. And since NISPR also is mandated to showcase the scientific achievements, I think in less than 24 hours, you have carried forward this message. You are an institute which is mandated, as was being mentioned by Dr. Kalai Selvi, most of the work that is being done here, and showcase in a manner that it not only inspires, it also reaches the stakeholders and the citizens for whom ultimately it is meant to bring ease in their living. And therefore, it's, I think, a providential coincidence that 1 week, 1 lab inauguration is happening the very next day after the G20 India. And rightly so, because the institute is also now showcasing all that has been done. Secondly, it's also a coincidence that the announcement of these Bhatnagar Awards were waiting for your lab to start your program. Everybody around was asking why this announcement has not happened. Now you know the secret. And I think also because though NISPR is a small institute, maybe in its volume, but its mandate is very large. Because going to deal with communication, going to deal with the dispensation of the information, which may not require very big labs. It might be possible only on an iPad. But their importance will be soon realized in the times to come. There were times when we hardly knew what is the significance or importance of social media or the soft media. Now I find whenever there is a program, the VIPs start looking around whether the media has arrived or not. And sometimes I have seen the lamping of this traditional lamp, the lighting is also held back because the media person is not. So I was asking, why not ask the media person himself to light it? Because this is subject. Very soon you will realize the importance of the institution which is being headed by Dr. Ranjana. And I was telling her the other day, I said now with the initiation of the scientific science media communication cell, which is done and launched, I said very soon you will find that आपका साम्राज्य 37 की 37 लैब में फैल गया है. Because when they realize the kind of service that is being provided through you, they will come looking forward to you, and rightly so, for their benefit. As was being mentioned by Dr. Kalai Selvi, the idea behind 1 week, 1 lab was that nobody knew what we were doing. And as she was saying that outside her laboratory was admission prohibited. But there was a reason, because you were working with experimenting with lithium. So nobody knew what it's all about. But that apart, if he can actually tell people what game changer the lithium is going to be in the times to come, I'm sure so many people will come to have a darshan of that place. Looking forward to the new kind of source of energy that's going to be there available in this country. And this was happening because over the years we had got used to that status quo existence, working behind a veil of confidentiality. We didn't know what is happening outside. Others also left us to ourselves. And many of the labs were located just in the close vicinity of 3-4 kilometers within each other, but they hardly met each other. Even the directors did not meet. In fact, in one of our CSIR labs, they were conducting a project on tuberculosis. And incidentally, they had a postgraduate institute just 1.5 kilometers away, a medical institute. But the two directors, the director and the dean, had never met. So now when I went there, I insisted that let me sit over here, and can we request the principal of the medical school to spare some time. Then we were conveyed that she is not available, it will take about an hour or so. I said, no, we'll hold back. At least let the two persons get introduced. And there we also decided that we'll have one thesis in the pharmacology, in the medical college, for a postgraduate student, where co-guide would be from CSIR, because the UGC guidelines are that the guide has to be from the parent institution. So that's how the integration began. So when we put up this 1 week, 1 lab, others would know what we are doing and where they can collaborate with us as far as the scientific fraternity is concerned. And when we put up stalls for the public display, people would know what it is meant for and how they can benefit. Now, as far as NISPR is concerned, they have a number of, when we are going through these exhibits, the Knowledge Resource Consortium, the Knowledge Science Digital Laboratory, they are into a swastik program where they are actually trying to propagate the validated traditional knowledge. Because this is one government which has institutionalized a fusion between the traditional knowledge and the cutting edge modern technology. We had the traditional knowledge library, which is now digitalized. Now it's known as TKDL, Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. even the Bharat Mandapam or some of the latest monuments constructed by this government present to you the best fusion of the latest scientific acumen, the scientific technologies, whether it be in the form of architecture, otherwise, coupled with the most traditional heritage that we have. And therefore, and COVID was one occasion which taught us that we had no option but to integrate. And those of us who looked at the alternative modes of science or the oriental modes in at least medicine with a certain amount of contempt, because there were many amongst us in the allopathic stream, also found the relevance of combining all these streams together. At the height of COVID, I would find some of our colleagues from the medical profession who were settled in US or Europe frantically calling up and asking, is there an immunity booster in homeopathy? I mean, those who spoke of homeopathy with all the content, because when they are faced with the threat of life, you can go for anything. But I think now that has become a norm. And I'm glad that India under Prime Minister Modi has taken a lead in doing so. This is also an occasion when we are making a transition from the kind of work approach that we have followed over the years. We are going to have a National Research Foundation where more than 60-70% of the funding would be from the non-government sources. And we are going to accommodate inputs also from the non-government sources, because we'll have a kind of a think tank which will not only have scientists but also representatives of the industry, representatives of academia, even representatives of the social sciences and the representatives of humanities, so that the Indian contexts, which are to a certain extent linked to our traditional knowledge that is we were talking about, are also not missed out in the process. Now, since before I conclude, I think one or two things that we can take up immediately as the future task. One, of course, as we were talking down the corridor and I spoke to Dr. Kalai Selvi, that we could also start one month, one theme. I don't know how it will spell OMOT or whatever, because she's good at doing all that. And no better place than this auditorium to announce both your awards as well as this, because this is the, I think, only auditorium which was visited by the first Vice President of CSIR, Dr. Sama Prasad Mukherjee. And this is also the only auditorium which has been visited by the first woman Director General of CSIR. Others will only follow. So, but having said that, I think that is one program we could take up, because we, even though as was nicely put by Professor Venugopal, each of the labs has a different USP, but many of us have common themes. If you take the agriculture sector and the medicinal plants, the aromatic plants, we have 3-4 institutes, the Palampur one, the Jammu one, who are actually into, and then of course the genomics. Similarly, in the area of chemistry, even in the area of electronics and aeronautics. So we could, and later on I was talking actually to Rajesh Gokhale, our DBD secretary, who is currently also the DST secretary, that later on the next stage we could have a wider integration based on theme. So when we talk of whole of science, when I was asked to declare the successful launching of Aditya in Sriharikota, that's what I said. I said this is one of the examples of whole of science, because though it was being executed by ISRO, collaboration in one form or the other, in a lesser measure or a bigger measure, had been made by almost all the departments, including CSIR, our Bengaluru laboratory, that National Aerospace, a DST lab, aeronautics, the Tata's Institute. So it was public, private sector plus all the. So I think next stage we could actually experiment on that, because that will be learning for all of us. And another task which has been assigned even by the government to different ministries, and I think we could carry it forward more effectively, is to pick up 10 success stories and create 10 selfie points. So I had a discussion with Dr. Ranjana Agarwal. All the ministries have been assigned to do that. For us, I think it's not as difficult because we have a lot of stories, beginning from Chandrayaan to world-class stories. So how we go about, the team would decide, because now they have choreographers, they have art directors, they have a complete team in place. And therefore, I think now what is important is that we should also concentrate on making smaller videos, about 1 minute or 1.5 minutes, so that on certain occasions we could use them even in public places where some kind of a government activity is happening. We could request them to give us a slot. If we have larger films or a 3-reel kind of a movie, they may not be able to accommodate us. But if we have something catchy, which they find interesting, because the idea is to reach out to them who actually are the potential beneficiaries of this. However much and however valuable an experiment is, it ceases to actually achieve its avowed objective. It doesn't reach out to those for whom it is meant. And sometimes it is also an indirect confession of our not being competent enough to carry it to where we had to. Like, for example, you had an era of experimental movies in 1970s. So anybody who failed to make it in Bollywood would become an experimental filmmaker and produce a movie based on some classic short story, a small budget movie with some new cast, and the movie would run just for 3 days in empty halls. Whereas Satyajit Ray, who actually pioneered this art of experimental movies, even till this day gets house full of those movies like Pathar Pancha. And he said in fact it was he who also said, what is the fun of making an experimental movie which is not watched by anybody? And in fact, the other famous film man, Salim, of the Salim Javed, he in fact had once said that, and in course of a dialogue, he told me, we can't say this openly, but those who claim to be experimental filmmakers are actually the failed filmmakers. So, if you shut down the laboratory doors and tell the world I'm experimenting, doing something, they'll think maybe he has nothing else to show. So, unless wo jungle mein mor nacha kisne dekha. So, the time-old proverbs which have been inherited from generation to generation have still not lost their meaning. So let's prove to the world that what we are doing is actually worthwhile for them, so that it reaches the beneficiary. And at the same time, it might also beget us some good inputs, maybe some course correction, maybe there would be some project for which the time is now no longer left out, we need to do some course correction. So I think it's also more and more of integration within the scientific fraternity and a larger integration amongst all the stakeholders. And NISPR is going to be the torch bearer of that. I have already discussed this with Dr. Ranjana Agarwal. Soon she'll be sending out a circular to all the institutes, telling them that it is their institute which is mandated and which is in a position to help them give the kind of projection. And now in the era of electronic media, it doesn't make much difference whether they are located in Delhi or elsewhere. They can offer their services. And we have actually succeeded at the end of 1 year for the very fact that, as Professor Venugopal was saying, that a media person came and asked me, what is this OWOL? Earlier on, you would run after the media persons, they would not. Unless I come here and say some bad words about the DG, I don't make news. Because then, in the evening, they'll go to her and ask her, how did you feel when he abused you? So, but we are getting good words, good press. That means the experiment which we started last year has actually reached somewhere. And on the 26th of this month, when we meet for the CSIR Day, I'm sure we'll move further from where we are today. Thank you.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर. आपके महत्वपूर्ण शब्दों और विचारों के लिए हम सभी आपके बहुत आभारी हैं। CSIR के 1 वीक 1 लैब उद्घाटन सत्र के अंतिम पड़ाव पर मैं धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव के लिए संस्थान के वरिष्ठ वैज्ञानिक और निस्पर 1 वीक 1 लैब कोर कमेटी के अध्यक्ष डॉक्टर योगेश सुमन जी से अनुरोध करूंगी कि वो आएं और इस समारोह के योगदान देने वाले लोगों के प्रति आभार प्रस्तुत करें। डॉक्टर योगेश सुमन सर।
Thank you, Mitali. And respected dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, Honorable Minister for Science and Technology and Vice President CSIR, Dr. N. Kalaiselvi Ma'am, DG CSIR and Secretary DSIR, Professor Venugopal Achanta Ji, Director CSIR-NPL, and our own Director, Professor Ranjana Agarwal Madam. This is indeed a matter of great privilege and honor for me to offer vote of thanks on behalf of all the staff members of CSIR-NIScPR, to acknowledge the teamwork and the coordination of all those involved in making this inauguration function a success and set a smooth platform for 1 week 1 lab program of our institute in the week to come. First of all, we would like to thank our Margdarshak and our mentor behind the idea of 1 week 1 lab, who agreed to be our chief guest, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, Honorable Minister for Science and Technology and Vice President CSIR, who spared time from his busy schedule and graced the occasion with his kind presence. Sir, we are highly obliged and express our deep gratitude to you for enlightening us with your kind and motivational words for our present and future endeavors. We thank Dr. N. Kalaiselvi Ma'am to provide us with all her guidance and support for organizing this event. We thank Professor Venugopal Achanta, Director CSIR-NPL, for his enlightening remarks, especially the support provided by CSIR-NPL in making available the resources required to organize this function. This is indeed a true reflection that CSIR is one family, sir, and we are well and truly indebted to NPL for this support. Thank you very much, sir. I think we can have an applause for it. And no amount of gratitude is sufficient enough to thank our director, Madam Professor Ranjana Agarwal, for her continuous support and guidance in all our endeavors. Ma'am, your support and guidance has always been a source of inspiration for all of us, and has helped us to carry out successfully the task of this magnitude and challenge. The way you support, guide, and encourage us has been truly remarkable. We thank the core organizing committee, the team consisting of Dr. Manish Mohan Gore, Dr. Shivnarayan Nishad, Ms. Mitali Bharti, Dr. L. Sandhya, Dr. Meherwan, Dr. Arvind Meena for their tireless efforts. We are thankful to Dr. Sujit Bhattacharya and Shri Hasan Javed Khan for their continuous and valuable guidance out of their experience throughout the preparation of this function and for the overall 1 week lab program of our NIScPR. We would like to thank all the staff members of our administration, finance, purchase section for their support, especially Controller of Administration, Shri Rajesh Kumar Roshan ji, Controller of Finance, Shri Ajay Kumar ji, Finance and Accounts Officer, Ms. Gurmeet Kaur ji, Ms. Veena Jain, and our SPU, Shri Meena ji from purchase section for their strong and positive support so that all the rules and procedures are taken care of. अब बाद में कोई problem ना आए. So all CSIR-NIScPR, we have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very proactive, competent, committed, and dedicated staff who are really well versed with their job. For this, I would like to thank the different committees constituted to carry out the various tasks. Especially, we would like to thank Dr. Naresh Kumar and his team for making venue and food arrangements, along with the exhibition stalls, Dr. Suman Ray and her team for stage arrangement and stage management, Dr. Dinesh Velip and his team for arranging kits, etc. for this function, Dr. Vinayak and his team for making arrangements for transport, accommodation, and other logistics for the invited guests, Dr. Monica Jaggi and her team for designing, printing of brochures, flyers, posters, banners, backdrops, etc. And special thanks are also due to the whole printing and production division led by Shri Ashwini Brahmiji. We would like to thank our IT team led by Ms. Charu Verma for making IT-related arrangements, especially the live streaming of this inauguration session on a war footing basis. We would like to thank Dr. Narish Srivastav, Dr. Sujit Bhattacharya, Dr. Naresh Kumar, and their team for arranging display of Institute's knowledge products during this session. We would like to thank Dr. Meherwan and his team for handling publicity, press, and social media coverage of the event. Finally, the budget part. Thanks are also due to Dr. Vipin Kumar and his team in Budget Rationalization Committee for finalizing and deciding the budget for this event in a logical manner. We would like to thank all the event coordinators and their teams who have very carefully designed and planned their events in the week to come as a part of our One Week program. We would like to thank all the ACSR students, project staff, and outsourced staff of CSIR-NIScPR for their support and contribution. Last but not the least, we would like to thank team from CSIR-NPL, especially Dr. K.K. Maurya, Head PME, Shri Virendra Kumar Gupta ji, in charge of NPL Auditorium, Shri Abhishek Bhatnagar ji and their team members for their invaluable support and making available all the facilities and resources. Thanks are also due to IT team at CSIR-NPL for providing IT support. We would like to thank media persons and our stakeholders on online platforms who have increased the reach of this event on other platforms at national and global level. We would like to thank all the invited guests who have gathered here on our invitation and all those who have joined online, especially the directors of other CSIR labs who are watching this event through live streaming. Finally, I may like to conclude thanking every individual who has directly or indirectly contributed to make this event a possibility. This has been truly a team effort of CSIR family, so kindly pardon me if I have missed someone or could not mention all the specific names. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव के लिए आपका धन्यवाद सर। राष्ट्र के प्रति सम्मान हम सभी का परम कर्तव्य है। इसी परम कर्तव्य के लिए आप सभी से अनुरोध है कि कृपया राष्ट्र के सम्मान में अपने स्थान पर खड़े हो जाएं।
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
भारत माता की जय।